The rain poured relentlessly that night, as if the heavens themselves were weeping. The small cemetery was nearly empty now. The few people who had come to pay their respects had already gone home, leaving behind nothing but silence, fresh soil, and the broken sobs of a little girl. She clutched a worn teddy bear to her chest, its fur matted from the rain, as she stared at the graves of her parents. They had been everything to her, her shelter, her warmth, her world. At just 8 years old, she felt as if her life had crumbled into pieces that no one would ever care to put back together. Her name was Emily. She stood shivering, looking to her uncle and aunt for comfort, but their eyes were cold. They had promised her parents they would look after her, but promises are often easy to make at funerals. By the time they reached home, the mask of sympathy had already begun to fade. The uncle, stern and bitter, muttered that they didn't have space for another mouth to feed. The aunt, who had always envied Emily's mother for her beauty and grace, couldn't hide her disdain. "We're not a charity," she hissed, glaring at the child who clung desperately to her teddy. That night, instead of a bed or a blanket, Emily was given the cold floor in the hallway. Her heart ached not only for her parents but for the warmth of love she no longer had. The days that followed were worse. Emily was treated like a burden, forced to do chores far beyond her strength, often going to bed hungry. She endured it all quietly, whispering to her teddy bear that one day, somehow, things would get better. But fate had more cruelty in store. Only a week after her parents' funeral, her aunt snapped. "You can't stay here anymore. Pack your things, if you even have any." Emily's small bag contained nothing but her teddy, a faded photo of her parents, and a sweater that no longer fit. She was pushed out into the street as the door slammed behind her. The sound echoed in her heart like a final judgment. She was alone. The night was cold, and the streets were merciless. Emily wandered aimlessly, tears streaking down her pale cheeks. She sat down near the steps of a closed bakery, hugging her knees, trembling. People passed by, some glancing at her with pity, others with annoyance, but no one stopped. She was invisible in a world that moved too fast to care. But sometimes, just when the night seems darkest, a flicker of light appears. A sleek black car slowed as it passed her, then stopped. The door opened, and out stepped a man in his late 50s, wearing a perfectly tailored suit. His eyes were sharp, but there was a softness in them as he looked at the child sitting alone in the rain. His name was Charles Whitmore, a millionaire known for his vast empire but also for his reclusive life. He had everything money could buy, yet his heart carried a deep scar. He had lost his own daughter years ago in a tragic accident. Charles knelt down, his umbrella shielding Emily from the rain. "Why are you out here all alone, sweetheart?" he asked gently. Emily looked up, hesitant, her lips trembling. She could barely find her voice. I have nowhere to go," she whispered. Something inside Charles broke. He saw in her eyes the same loneliness he had carried for years. Without hesitation, he lifted her into his car, wrapped her in his coat, and told the driver to take them home. For the first time in days, Emily felt warmth, not just physical, but the warmth of being seen, being cared for. Charles's mansion was grand, but Emily didn't care about marble floors or chandeliers. What struck her most was the kindness with which the staff welcomed her at his command. She was given a hot meal, clean clothes, and a bed softer than anything she had ever imagined. But more than all of that, she was given dignity. Still, healing wasn't easy. Emily had nightmares, waking up crying for her parents. She feared being abandoned again, afraid that kindness could vanish overnight like it had with her relatives. Charles, patient and gentle, sat by her side each night, telling her stories and reminding her that she was safe now. Slowly, trust began to bloom. Challenges came, as they always do. The uncle and aunt, upon hearing that Emily was now with Charles, tried to manipulate the situation. They came demanding money, claiming guardianship rights, pretending they had only thrown her out in a moment of stress. But Charles saw through their lies. He fought for Emily, using his resources to secure legal guardianship, ensuring she would never again be at the mercy of those who had abandoned her. There were also whispers in society, people questioning why a wealthy man would take in a poor orphan. Some accused him of seeking sympathy, others of trying to fill the void of his own loss. Charles ignored them all. He knew that what he had found was something priceless, a chance to give love again, and to receive it. As years passed, Emily flourished under Charles's care. She studied hard, inspired by his resilience and generosity. She often remembered her parents' love and promised herself to honor them by becoming someone they would be proud of. Charles became her mentor, her protector, and eventually, the father figure she had lost. The story came full circle when Emily, now a young woman, stood on a stage giving a speech at a charity event. With Charles smiling proudly in the front row, she shared her journey, from being a little girl abandoned in the rain to being given a second chance at life. Her voice trembled as she said, "Sometimes family isn't the one you're born into. Sometimes family is the one that chooses you when the world turns its back." The audience was moved to tears, standing in ovation. By the end, Emily and Charles proved that love and kindness could rebuild even the most shattered of lives. She became not only his daughter in spirit but also his legacy of compassion. Together, they built foundations to help other orphans, making sure no child would ever feel as alone as she once had. And so, the story that began with loss ended with hope. A reminder to us all. No matter how cruel the world can be, kindness has the power to heal, to restore, and to transform lives. Call to action for your channel. If this story touched your heart, let me know in the comments below what part moved you the most. Your thoughts mean the world, and I'd love to hear your perspective. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to my channel, Be Kind Always, where we continue to share emotional, inspiring stories that remind us of the power of compassion. Because kindness costs nothing, but can mean everything. Red Heart.